Hello friends and welcome to the Southern Mountain Kitchen. Today we're going to make a creamy chicken and stuffing casserole. So what you see on my counter is what we're going to use to make this. There's not a lot going into this, but I have to tell you something. Every now and then a recipe just totally blows my mind and I'm like, wow, this was one of them. Because when you make this, it tastes a lot like you're having Thanksgiving dinner. And I got to thinking, for anybody who doesn't want to go through all the effort of making a large turkey or dealing with a lot of other stuff, this is a great substitute, or for somebody who just doesn't have time to cook. It's not that hard to put together. This tastes really amazing. You're going to put some gravy over top of this at the end. It's got stuffing. It's got the chicken in place of the turkey though, but it has such a great flavor. So this is something you might want to try if you don't have time to cook a full meal for Thanksgiving or whatever. So we're going to clean up our chicken, cut off all the fat, get the hard pieces off of it. Just make sure that, we catch all of the fat because you really don't want to eat that as you're eating your casserole. So we're going to go ahead and work our way through it. And then after we cut off everything from this, we're going to put these into a bag and actually pound them and just tenderize them a bit. Now, if you wanted to have more chicken than I have here, you could probably squeeze in a fourth breast. If they were a little smaller, mine were kind of on the large side, but if you actually needed 4 of these, you probably could do it quite easily. You just need a really large pan. Mine is a 9.5 by 13.5 pan, so it holds quite a lot. So get that chicken cleaned up, put it in a bag, and we're going to take a mallet to it and just pound it for, about a minute or so on each side, just to actually push it down a little bit, break it up a little bit, make it a lot tender, just do what we got to do before we put it into our pan. Just flip it over, do it on both sides. Now, right about this time, you probably want to preheat your oven to 350 degrees because this will cook for 45 minutes. So once you get your thing you're going to bake this in, I'm using my baking dish here. I'm going to coat it with some nonstick cooking spray because I don't want it to set up shop. And just go ahead and add the chicken to it. And like I said, if you're adding 4 breasts to it, just put it in there however you need to do it, because you could probably easily, in a size dish like I have, fit 4 of these. And once they're in there, we're going to add some seasoning to this. And we're just giving it a bit of flavor here. So we're going to use a teaspoon of chicken seasoning, and that can be any kind you want to use, 1 teaspoon of Italian seasoning, and 1 teaspoon of garlic powder. We're just trying to give it a little punch of flavor before we do anything else to it. So just make sure you get it totally coated over top of it. And then when we do this and get it totally finished, we're going to sit it to the side because we're going to mix up something we're going to actually coat the chicken with here in a second. So you're going to need a large bowl to mix this up. We're going to add 16 ounces of sour cream to this. And then afterwards, we're going to add a 10.5 ounce can of cream of chicken soup, which doesn't matter who makes it. It's all good anyway. You can use the generic. I do it all the time. Get that in there. And then after that, we're going to add 1 packet of onion soup mix. And all of this is going to work together to give this such a kick of flavor. It's just something, until you try it, you're not going to get it. It just is so good together and it works so well. And it's just one of these things where, you'd be amazed how easy this is to make, but how good it tastes to eat, which really is just something that blows your mind. And what's really great about it is once you have it done, you can easily serve it with like a vegetable or on some rolls or something like that. And it tastes so good. So getting ready to put my onion soup mix into this and then mix it up. Now, here's the deal. When you're going to mix this up, you really have to mix this for a minute to get it completely combined together. Just basically because of the condensed soup, kind of takes a minute to mix in. But you'll notice as you're doing it that the color is going to change and it's all becoming like one color after it's done. Because until it's all mixed up like with mine, it's going to have these yellow ribbons through it, and you just have to keep going for about a minute or so until you really get it mixed in. But once we get this totally done, we're going to spread this over the chicken, and that's going to give it all this flavor that's adding to the seasoning we already put on it. But if you haven't done it by now, preheat your oven to 350 degrees because, like I said, this cooks for about 45 minutes. So it's going to be in there for a minute. But we want to make sure that that chicken is totally cooked through before we serve it. One thing you might want to do at the 45-minute marker is actually, stick a thermometer in the chicken just to see how well it's doing. But go ahead and get this mixed up, and as I said, we are going to spread this over top. Now there's plenty of this mix here if you needed like 4 chicken breasts or whatever, or if you use multiple small ones, because it'll go all over all of it. It's just there's that much there to work with, and it's really great. So get it in there, smear it all over the top of these, and then when we're done with this, we're going to move on to making the stuffing part of this. See, as I was saying, there's plenty of this to go around. Now, for the stuffing mix, you're going to need 2 boxes of stuffing. Now, the thing with this is like it can be any kind you want to. If you wanted to use the cornbread kind, the normal kind, whatever, any kind of herb taste, whatever, it's up to you. But you do need 2 of them. And then we're going to add some chicken broth to this. Now, we're going to add up to 1.5 cups. Here's the thing. Don't pour that whole 1.5 cups in there at first. Go ahead with about 1 cup the first time around. Get it mixed in a bit. And then come back and then put as much of that 1/2 cup in as you need, because you don't want to like make this a soggy mess. We're trying to get it wet but not necessarily soggy. So I have a whole cup in there. Now I'm coming in with another 1/2, and I'm just putting in as much as I think I need. You just want this to look wet. You don't want it to look like it's a wet soup, you know what I mean? So get it in there, mix it through. It'll take a second for this to start to, you know, totally take up all the moisture you just put into it, but just keep moving it around with your spatula or whatever until you think that all of the liquid is absorbed. And that's the whole thing we're trying to do with this. So now once this is mixed, we're going to put this into the baking dish right on top of what we already have in there, and we're going to spread it around to make sure it's totally covered, and just make sure that, you know, goes side to side, top to bottom, whatever, do you get all of it in. And then afterwards, really the only thing you're going to have to do to this is take a stick of butter, cut it into like tablespoons, and just put them around the top of it, because when this bakes, that's going to help that bake in. Now, when we put this in the oven, you don't have to cover this. If you want to, you can. It's not really necessary. I think it does better when you don't cover it. So, but as I said before, 350 degrees for 45 minutes. Now, just go ahead and scoop all of that stuffing mix on top, and we're going to just spread it all around. And the good thing about having 2 boxes of this, it does go a long ways. But as this is all cooking, it's going to like incorporate together to where, you know, the chicken is going to have a good coating of everything we did before with the sour cream. But then on top of this, you're going to have that stuffing taste. And I swear, this is just the best tasting thing, especially if you love food at Thanksgiving. You're going to love this one because it just tastes that good. And it's something you really would like. So, like I said, put the butter on top of this, just work your way through and just go from all over the top of it. Just make sure they're kind of spaced out a little bit, and that's all you have to do. Is nothing really that big deal about it. Just make sure you get it coated. And after this, it goes into the oven, and then in 45 minutes, you're going to get back something really amazing to eat. And that's the best thing about it. This was not hard to make, you know, but it has such an amazing taste. Like I said, if you look for a substitute where you can't actually get around to cooking Thanksgiving, this is a good substitute. Just add a few things to it, and you know what? It's going to taste a lot like you would have expected to have had anyway. And this is what mine looked like on a plate, and I gotta tell you, this has the best taste. I think you just might like this. I hope you liked this video, and if you did, please like and subscribe. And if you get a chance, check out the Southern Mountain Kitchen website, where you can get a free recipe, check out the cookbooks available from the Southern Mountain Kitchen, and if you'd like to, you could order a cookbook at a discounted price, cheaper than Amazon, with shipping that is also cheaper than Amazon. So if you get a chance, check it out, and I hope you have a great day.